Hi everyone, it's me Gaming Dew, and with 2023 pretty much behind us, there's really no more 2023 films to anticipate. But we do have a whole year of films to anticipate for 2024. And in this video, I'm going to give you my personal top 10 most anticipated films of 2024. Now, even though there was a writer's strike last year that kind of made an effect on the films that are going to be coming out this year, there are still a fair amount of films that are still going to come out this year that I am anticipating to hell and back. So sit down, make some popcorn, grab yourself a glass of something to drink, and watch my top 10 most anticipated films of 2024. Joker, Folie à Deux is my 10th most anticipated film of the year. Well, next year at this point, but anyways. Joker 2 is a film that I've wanted to see for a while. I really liked the first Joker film. I thought it was a really, really creepy film, honestly. And it's probably the creepiest comic book film of all time, in my opinion. It just really goes into the mind of Arthur or the Joker and stuff like that, and it really makes your skin crawl, and that's the power of the movie. I heard some people say, oh, it's one of the best comic book films of all time and stuff like that. I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I think it's really good. Definitely better than some of the comic book films in 2019, per se, but it's not my favorite comic book film of all time. It's not even in my top 10. But I'm still anticipating the sequel. I think it's going to be very interesting to see Lady Gaga play Harley Quinn. That's going to be pretty cool. I wonder how Harley Quinn's going to go psycho. The only thing that kind of throws me off is I heard this is going to be a musical? That's a bit of a weird take, but okay. But overall, I am really anticipating this film. Number 9 is going to be Beetlejuice 2. We don't have an official poster yet, so this is the poster I'm going to use to show this off. Beetlejuice 1 is a classic, as everybody should know. It's my second favorite Tim Burton film, actually, behind The Nightmare Before Christmas. I really, really like this movie. So a sequel just makes sense to me. With it being, what, like 36 years after the original, it's a bit of a time jump, but I think they're going to handle it still very well. There was a big time jump between Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, and Top Gun Maverick I think is even better than the original, so I'm sure they can handle this sequel just fine, and I'm pretty sure they will. And I'm very excited for this film. Don't have too much more to say, but this is going to be a good one. I think I can tell. Okay, I have a bit of a guilty pleasure thing to admit. Garfield, the movie from 2004 with Bill Murray, is a guilty pleasure for me. Do I genuinely enjoy that film? Like, oh my god, this is a cinematic masterpiece? No. But it is such a freaking laugh fest that it's not even funny, and it's a so bad it's good film. Sort of like the Scooby-Doo film from 2002, even though that has a few Scooby-Doo 2002, I think, has a few aspects that are just so good it's good. Like Matthew Lillard as Shaggy, I think is just really good casting, but that film is mostly so bad it's good too. But seeing a Garfield film that I think might actually be so good that it's genuinely good is really good to see. because I have a very big soft spot for the Garfield franchise. I think it's very charming, very funny, sometimes very heartwarming. I really like the show from 2009. I grew up, I think it was from 2009. It was from the late 2000s and early 2010s, the CG one. I grew up with that, and with that, I really want to see this movie. Chris Pratt as Garfield probably wouldn't have been my first choice, but, you know, he surprised me being pretty well as Mario, so I think he can do it again with Garfield. Samuel L. Jackson playing Garfield's dad is cool, and yeah, I mean, seeing another Garfield movie on the big screen is pretty cool. This is one film that I actually just found out they're doing. Number 7 for me is going to be The Crow 2024. Listen, Brandon Lee captures the original Crow perfectly, so I don't think it's quite going to recapture that magic, but I'm still very excited for this film. The Crow is a film I've only seen once, but the one time I did see it, I realized this is an awesome movie. I love the style of it and everything, and seeing that again is gonna be so cool, and I am actually really looking forward to this movie, and I can't wait for it to come out. I just don't know if it's gonna quite recapture the original, but I think overall it's gonna be a good time. The other film I just found out is coming out next year is a new Wallace and Gromit film. So far, there's pretty much nothing but just the announcement that it's actually coming out now, and it's coming in 2024, and I absolutely adore Wallace and Gromit. It is such a charming franchise, and Curse of the Were-Rabbit is in my top 10 favorite DreamWorks films of all time. If you've seen my DreamWorks ranking before, I love this franchise in general. I love all the shorts. I even love the video games they've released over the years. So when I heard they're going to be making a new Wallace and Gromit feature-length film in 2024, I was like, yes, please. I will be there the day it comes out to see it. I love this franchise, and I can't wait for this film. But there are 5 more films I'm anticipating, just a little bit more. Such as Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I remember going to the movie theater. This is one of the last big activities I did before the COVID-19 pandemic. This film came out right about a month before that crap all happened. I went with some of my friends from high school. We were seniors, and we all went to my local movie theater. It was like 5 or 6 of us. We all went there, and we had a freaking blast seeing that movie. And I still have a fond soft spot for Sonic 1. Sonic 2, I actually got to see a few days before it even came out, and it was even better than the original. I have more fond memories of the first film, but I think as a movie, the second one is even better. But what about Sonic 3? I think this is the most I've been anticipating them out of all 3 of these films. I like the first 2 very much. I probably like them even more than the average Sonic game, pretty much. That just proves how much I like these Sonic films. But Shadow the Hedgehog is probably my favorite Sonic character in general. I just think he's so freaking cool. So seeing him on the big screen is going to be a freaking blast. The only thing is, we don't know yet if Jim Carrey is going to be coming back as Eggman, and he was the highlight of the first 2 films for me. So I might feel his loss in the film if he's not in Sonic 3, but I'm still anticipating this film a lot. Inside Out 1 is a film sort of like Ratatouille for me, where it's grown more on me the older I get. It is in my top 10 favorite Pixar films. I absolutely adore the first film. It's not in the top 5 for me quite, but I still think it's an excellent movie. So, this is actually one of the Pixar films that I think deserves a sequel. I'm like, there's plenty more to explore in this universe. And with the puberty route, basically, they're going to be going through, that's probably what makes sense next. And since I love the first film, there's no reason why I shouldn't anticipate this film. I kind of get a little bit that Pixar sequels don't have the absolute best track record, but I still think this looks so similar to the original that I think this might be one of the best Pixar sequels. It actually looks really freaking good. I just hope they don't make it too silly or anything like that, or don't really have any serious moments like a lot of the modern Pixar films. The reason why I like Elemental so much is because it actually felt like it had some Pixar-like emotion that has been missing since probably Toy Story 4, and I'm hoping they bring that into this film. Inside Out 2 is a film I am absolutely pumped for, but not quite the top 3. Top 3 was pretty easy for me, and especially the top 2. I knew the top 2 right from the get-go. But number 3, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm down. I love Kung Fu Panda 1. It is my third favorite DreamWorks film of all time, right behind the first 2 Shrek films. And Kung Fu Panda 2 is my 5th favorite. I absolutely adore it as a sequel. Kung Fu Panda 3 is even on the top half of my list, even though it is my least favorite of the Kung Fu Panda films so far. And I think it's going to stay that way, because Kung Fu Panda 4 looks freaking awesome. That trailer really sold me. It looks like it might overtake even 2. I don't know if it's going to beat the original for me, but it looks like it might beat the second film. This Tai Lung returning, oh my god, I was like, sign me up. Oh my god. Tai Lung was such an awesome villain in the first film that I'm like, I can't freaking wait to see him again. I really hope they bring back Lord Shen too. That would be so freaking cool. And just, Kung Fu Panda is one of those franchises that I think can get a 4th film, and I'm excited that it is. I'm going to see this as soon as it comes out, and I'm going to review it on Letterboxd, and I'll mention it probably in some form of video what I thought of it. This is a film I am really anticipating now. I love both of the Deadpool movies that have released so far. I have been a fan of the character since I played the 2013 video game, the year it actually came out. Ever since then, I have been a huge fan of this character, which means I've been a fan of this character for over 10 years. When I saw his film in theaters, the first one, it was the first R-rated movie I ever saw in the movie theaters. I was 14 years old. I went with my mom and stepfather. It was an awesome time and an awesome movie. Deadpool 2 was actually the second R-rated movie I ever saw in the movie theaters. I saw that with my dad and his friend, and that was another awesome time. Hearing Deadpool 3 is going to have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in it, at first I was a little bit iffy until I saw he had the comic accurate suit, and I was like, yes, please. Comic accurate suit Wolverine is one of the most cool superhero costumes of all time. So, I can't explain how excited I am for this film. This film is going to be a blast. I know it is. Deadpool 1 and 2 are both in my top 10 favorite comic book films of all time. I adore them, and nothing's telling me why I wouldn't enjoy this film. This film is going to be... it might even be my favorite MCU film of the decade after I see it. That's how much I love Deadpool. But there is one more film that I am anticipating more than Deadpool 3. But you'll have to wait through the honorable mentions before we get to number 1. Alright, here is number 15 through 11. Number 15 is Mean Girls, the 2024 remake. I actually just saw the original for the first time in October, I believe. And it was a really funny film. So, when I heard they're going to be remaking a remake, I'm like, cool, I'll watch it. I'm not a huge fan that it's going to be based off of the musical, but I think they'll handle it rather well. We'll see. It's going to be probably the first film of the year that I see, so I will give you my Letterboxd review on that very soon. Number 14 is Dune 2. Dune is another film I've only just seen very recently. It's a really cool film. I love all the visuals and stuff, but it might be slightly overrated in my opinion, but it's still in my top 15 most anticipated for the year. 13 is If. This cool new Imaginary Friends movie with Ryan Reynolds kind of reminds me a lot of the Free Guys movie, which is really cool. I love the cast and everything, so I'm anticipating this movie. 12 is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I just also saw Ghostbusters Afterlife pretty recently for the first time, and I really liked it. So I am anticipating its sequel pretty much on par with the original, I hope. Or not the original, on par with Afterlife, I hope. And number 11 is Transformers 1, the new animated Transformers film. I think it's the first feature-length animated Transformers film since the 80s. So that's really cool. The casting is really awesome, and yeah, I can't wait for that film. But I don't think there's ever been a film I have anticipated more than this film. This is not only my most anticipated film of the year, this is probably my most anticipated film of the entire decade so far. Number 1 is a film I can't put into words how excited I am for. Let's just say its predecessor is my favorite movie of all time. My number 1 most anticipated film of 2024 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Like I said, War is my favorite film of all time, period. That film just mesmerizes me every time I watch it. It brings me teary-eyed. It makes me feel excited with all the battle scenes. It makes me feel fear when they trap all the apes and stuff like that. The whole war is just awesome to see. Some of the best visuals I've ever seen in a movie. Bad Ape is freaking hilarious. It just brings everything I'd want into a movie into a perfect package. So, I mean, I'm a little bit sad that Matt Reeves is not coming back to direct this film, but that's perfectly fine. Because if this is even as good as Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I'll be satisfied. Because I'll be honest, I don't think this is going to be as good as War for the Planet of the Apes. I don't think it will be. But I do think it's going to be amazing. And that's all I ask for. Just another amazing adventure with the Planet of the Apes characters. And I hope they at least reference the trilogy in some form. I hope maybe in some... I know this is going to take place 300 years after, but I hope maybe we see a flashback or something of, like, Cornelius and Maurice and stuff like that. That would be super cool. I can't put into words how excited I am for this film. This is going to be a film I see the day it comes out, and I am so pumped for it. And that's about it, guys. At the release of this video, we have one more video left for 2023, and that will be my 2023 A Year in Review. And I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And that's about it. Gaming Jew here. See you later. Bye.